So we had seen something about how these students are doing, whether the boys are doing better than the girls in maths and so on. But I guess one thing which might be useful if you are a teacher in the class is to find out which students are not doing well, so that you could give them some help.
In, let's say, if you want to do it in mathematics.
Yeah. So first of all, not doing well means maybe those who are comparatively not doing well. So those who are below the others in some sense.
What does it mean below the others? Below the max? That means only one person is doing well.
Yeah, max is too much. So there may be students who are not quite the max who are doing well. But we also computed the average. So maybe
should we take people below the average?
Yeah, that might
That's
be
a good starting point. I think.
Yeah, so we might say who's doing.
You may, yeah. I mean, average is a reasonable indicator. So let's say we want to find the average and then find all the cards, all the students whose marks, maths marks is below the average maths marks, right? But that should be half of the cards. Roughly half the students will be like that. Should be, no?
Should be, yeah. I mean,
we'll
it seems reasonable, yeah. I mean,
seems like a reasonable, but we'll find out. Let's find out.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do we do that? I mean, if I want to find out which are the students who are below the, should I keep a list of students who are below the average? As we are computing the average, we keep.
Yeah. So as we are going along, we have an average that we. So I guess first of all, we can, like we have computed max as we go along, we can compute average as we go along. Right? We need the sum and we need the number, and we need to divide. So as we are going along, we can keep the sum of however many cards we have seen. And we know how many cards we have seen. So supposing we have seen 17 cards, we have the sum of 17 cards.
And the count.
Then we divide by 17 and we have the current average. Then we take the 18th card, we add the sum, we divide by 18. We
but in that 17 itself, you may have some cards which are below that average, right?
Yeah. So now
but that average was only at the end we found that.
So now what had happened is the average after 17 is of course not likely to be the same as the average after 18.
So average changes.
So the average changes, and so what is below and above average also becomes a different set. So if we had a set of cards which we had identified as below average, perhaps the average moves up.
Should we try that? I mean, we try to keep track of all the cards which are below average and see how it goes.
We can try. Yeah, let's try and see whether that works or not.
Okay.
So now so we are going to do now two things simultaneously. One is we are going to keep the average as we go along.
We want to keep a count variable and a sum variable.
Yeah. So for that we need a sum and a count.
Yeah.
And we need to also keep a list of cards which are below the current average. Below the average that we have.
Will the average go up? Can go up, right?
Yeah. If we get a new card which is above.
If it goes up, then the list is still valid because those were below the average till then.
Yeah, but there may be some.
If the average goes down.
No, both ways. No, if the average goes up also, some cards which we thought were above the average might now become.
Oh, I see. Okay, you may. Oh, that's even more difficult.
Yeah, and some cards which were below the average, if the average reduces, might now become okay. So they might have to be removed from the list. So we'll have to keep going back and see the list that we have.
Do the whole list again.
Yeah, we'll have to keep doing the list again and again. So that seems little bit because first we'll have to do it, say for 17 cards we have to produce a list. Then
when you see the 18th
card,
you go back and see all the 17 cards again.
Yeah, we have to go through all the 17 cards again.
That's a very cumbersome process because as you keep going, when you go to the 19th, you'll have to see 18.
Yes.
Again. When you go to the 20th, you have to see the 19 again.
Yes, because you don't know really which ones get affected by this.
Doesn't seem like a very good procedure. You are doing too many checks, right?
Yeah. So
should be a better way of doing it.
So of course, once we know the overall average, then the list is clearer, right? So if we know the total average for the whole class, this is what we are actually interested in, right? We want to know in the whole class who is below average.
So unlike what we saw earlier where we were keeping track of the average as we go along and then trying to do something with it and so on, here in this case we can't do that. We are saying we will go through the whole.
Yeah, I think it is better to first just compute the average.
Compute the average for the entire list.
Yeah, and then do a single list of 30. Now this is going to be better than before because earlier we were doing for 29, 28, 27, 26, where we are doing only once for all 30.
All 30 will do.
Will do, and then.
So, but we have to do 2 iterations.
Yes.
One iteration to find the average.
Yes.
Then a second pass through the cards again.
Yeah.
To find all the cards which are below that average.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So this was a little bit like, if you remember the words thing, where we wanted to find all words
the
which
words.
were above a certain frequency.
Frequency.
We have to first find all the frequencies and then
Frequencies.
go through and then identify those words whose frequency is too high and then remove them.
Right.
So I think we have to first
So
do
it's
this.
a interesting kind of filter here, right? Because even that word also has a like interesting kind of filter.
Yeah.
Here you are basically determining the filter based on the properties of the cards.
Yes.
The earlier filters were saying basically look at the card and see whether it's a boy or a girl or something.
Yeah, and it was
Now you are saying
yeah, and the value that we were comparing, like max or something, was something which was
on the fly,
yeah,
incrementally coming.
Whereas now we need a cumulative.
Cumulative thing. So you are looking at all the cards, coming up with some cumulative number, which
Yes.
is the average,
Yes.
and then using that average variable
We are going
as
to
a filter.
filter to say below average.
Below average you take out.
Okay.
All right.
So
all right, that's good. Let's try that.
So let us try. So
So we are going to keep track of the count. So initially
so we'll keep the sum,
sum and count.
which is initially 0, and we'll keep the count, which is also initially 0.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we see now the first card.
First card is 68,
So first card is 68, and now the count is 1.
62,
Okay, so that is now 130, and the count is 2.
57,
Okay, so that's 187, and the count is 3.
42,
So that's 229.
87,
Fifth card, that's now 316.
71,
This is the sixth card, that's 387.
81,
That's the seventh card, and that's 468.
84,
That's the eighth card, and that's 552.
74,
That's the ninth card, and that's 626.
63,
That's the 10th card, and that's 689.
64,
So that's the 11th card, 1 second, and that's 753.
97.
Okay,
You're the
that's
max
the
candidate.
12th card, and that's 850.
52,
13th card, it's 902.
65,
14th card, and that's 967.
89,
That's the 15th card, and that's 1056.
76,
That's the 16th card, and that's 1132.
87,
That's the 17th card, and that's 1219.
62,
It's the 18th card, and that's 1 second, 1281.
72,
That's the 19th card, and that's now 1353.
56,
It's the 20th card, and that's 1409.
93,
21st card, and it's 1502.
78,
22nd card, and that's 1580.
62,
23, and that's 1642.
97,
24, that's 1739.
44,
25, that's 1783.
87,
26, and that's 1870.
74,
27, and that's 1944.
81,
We get another piece of paper to write on. So now we have 28,
81 we are adding,
and we have 2025.
74,
That's the 29th card, and that's 2099.
the last card is 72.
So we have 30 cards, and the total is 2171.
So let's
So we know that the total sum. So after this, the sum is
2171,
2171. Count is
30,
30. So the average is 2171 divided by 30. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And this is 72.36, I think.
all right.
Since all our marks were integers, We don't really need to know. We just know that anything 72 and below is
72
below
and below. So should we go through the cards
Yeah.
now?
So now we should find out who is below average. Right? So we will.
The last card was 72.
Yes. So now we have.
We
so
can go
let's
in
just
any
say-
order.
Yeah, we can go in
Is
any
it?
order.
Yeah.
Now we have this target. So we want to filter according to this number. So anything which is below this number, we want to move aside.
Okay.
And we want to ideally keep track of
The cards you are seeing.
Yeah. So
right?
now we are going in reverse order, but it doesn't matter. So below average. So we will just maintain a list of number card IDs. So the first one is 29.
29.
So 29 is a card ID which is below 70.
This is 74.
74 is not below, so we skip it.
I can keep it in the same pile, doesn't matter, right? Because
Yeah,
you
you
have
can.
to keep in track of the numbers.
Yeah.
74. 81.
81 is also not below.
74.
No,
It's 87.
no,
44.
yes. So card number 24 is below average.
97.
No,
62.
yes. So card
22.
22 is below average.
78.
No,
93.
no,
56.
yes. So card 19 is below average.
72. Yes.
Yes. 18 is also below average.
62.
Yes. 17 is also below average.
87.
No,
76.
no,
89.
no,
65.
yes. So card 13 is below average.
52.
Card 12 is below average.
97.
No,
Okay. 64.
yes. So card 10 is below average.
63.
9 is below average.
74.
No,
Marginally above. 84.
no,
81.
no,
71.
yes.
Yeah.
So card 5 is below average.
87.
No,
42.
yes. So card 3 is below average.
57.
Yes,
62.
yes,
68.
yes.
So how many did we get?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15.
It
So
is
actually
exactly half.
It's exactly half. So
Should it
we
be
have-
always the case? I mean, does it seem?
Well, actually, I don't think it needs to be exactly half. For instance, supposing you had some students, supposing a lot of students had around 50 marks, right? And one student had 100.
so the
Supposing
average.
everybody had 50 marks, except one student had 100.
Ah,
So this one student who has 100 will make the average more than 50.
yes.
So all the people who have got 50 marks will be below average.
Oh, I see. So if you had instead of, of 30 students, if
Yeah,
29
so
were
supposing
50
yeah, supposing you had
29 or 50
had 50
and one has
and
100,
one has 100.
Then the average will be slightly more than 50.
Yeah, will be something more than 50.
50.
So these 29 students would be below,
Below average.
Yeah. So I
it
think
won't be half.
we are lucky that we got 15, but there is no reason why it should be 50.
So the cards are nice. The values of match marks are kind of nicely.
Yeah, distributed
distributed
below and above the average.
below
but
and
the
above
average could be somewhere not midway.
Okay.
So I think that's another interesting thing. So if you just take this average, which is the sum divided by the total,
Hmm.
this need not be the midpoint. Although in this particular case it happens to be the midpoint. But the useful thing we have found is that to do this separation or filtering, we had better do the average computation first and then do it. Otherwise, it's very tedious to do this as we go along, because we have to keep revisiting this list. So this kind of a list we would have to keep going back and adding, subtracting as we go.
And that by looking at all the cards
so
once
we'd have to
again.
revisit
All the
cards.
cards once
So
again.
we'll have to see one card, then two cards, then three cards, then four cards, and so on.
So on.
So that will be a lot.
That okay. That's very wasteful. So it's much better to just do the whole thing in 2 iterations.
Yeah.
One to find the average and another to separate the cards.
Yes.
All right.
So we saw how to find out which students are doing poorly below average, but actually another thing that we might want to do is to kind of group these students according to how they have done. So usually we do that by assigning grades. No.
Like you could give guys above average A and below average you could give B.
Yeah, but that might be too crude, no? Just 2 categories. So usually we have like people who have done really well close to the top, we maybe give them an A, then those who have done reasonably well, we give them a B. So I would say typically maybe 4 categories. Yeah, A, B, C, D would be a good way to do it.
But how do you, I mean, we have right now average which divides,
Yeah.
roughly we saw into 2 equal parts.
Hmm.
So if you want to give 2 grades, then I know how to do it, but if you have to do 4 grades, then I don't know what to do.
Well, see, we could take the range of grades, the marks that students have, and try to divide it up.
Range in the sense, I mean,
Well, of course, it is range is 0 to 100, but nobody has got 0 and nobody has got 100. So maybe it's more reasonable to look at the range that the students have actually got. So maybe we want to look at the lowest mark anyone has got.
which is the minimum.
Yeah, the minimum. then the highest mark anyone has got, which is the maximum.
Which we
so
found
that gives
already.
us the spread of marks.
You have already found the maximum.
Yeah, we have found the minimum and maximum.
We have not found the minimum. We found the maximum.
We found the maximum.
We have to
So
find
if
the
we
minimum.
know this spread, minimum to maximum, then one thing could be we then find within that we decide how to separate the remaining people into say 4 categories A, B, C, D.
How do you do that? I mean, I know. So let's say maximum. We know the maximum is 97 in this, but I don't know what the minimum is. Let us say some number, whatever it is. Let's say 20. Then what do I do?
So we have a range from 20 to say 97.
Huh.
So that is like 78 marks, 77 plus 1, 78 marks. So maybe you want to just take that segment of 78 and divide it into
4.
Maybe 4 equal groups.
4 equal parts.
Yeah, 4 equal parts, and whoever falls.
And hope that they equally divided.
Yeah, so we create 4 bands.
4 bands.
And then
assume that there are 4 equal. Each of those bands have the equal number of students. We don't know. May have.
So we have to first define those bands.
But then this requires us to find the minimum maximum first.
Yes, because we are only finding the bands between the marks that we actually.
So minimum. So we saw that finding the maximum, it requires us to iterate through all the cards.
Yes.
I presume minimum also will require us to iterate all the cards.
Same thing,
right?
we have to remember, instead of maximum we have to remember the minimum.
And this business of separating into A, B, C, D as we go along,
we will not be able to do, because the bands will change depending on
band
what
keeps changing depending on the, just like the average what we did.
Yeah, so we will have to first do the minimum maximum calculation.
Find the minimum maximum.
Then decide the bands. And then go through one more pass and move people into filter it
into those 4 bands.
So
should we find?
Yeah.
How do I find the minimum? I mean, I know maximum because we said it's basically keep on checking whether the current card is greater than max. If it is, you replace the max with the current maximum.
So minimum will be the same way in the reverse direction. So if something is smaller than the minimum, you will replace it with the new minimum.
Then what do I start with? I mean, where do I start the value?
So minimum.
There we started with 0, I think.
Yeah.
Max, right?
So here we should take something which is definitely bigger than everything. So we know marks are out of 100.
So we can take.
So
100?
maybe we can take 100 or even 101. Because we know that nobody will have 101 marks. So every minimum will be definitely less.
So let's take 101.
Yeah. And for the maximum, we could even take -1.
-1.
Minimum mark somebody could have got
0.
So
take
so let's start that.
Let's start that.
So we say, so I will start. So I
you
will
will
keep
start
2
with
columns.
So you have 2 variables.
So I keep max, which I put as initially -1.
-1.
And I keep min, which I initially keep as 101.
All right. So as we see each card, marks we will look at, and if the max is
if it exceeds the max,
we have to the max, you'll update the max,
and we have if it is below the min, so it could be both. Like the first card will be both.
Okay, let's try 68.
So 68 is more than -1, so I'll make the max currently into 68, but the min is also now 68 because it is.
Okay, all right, okay. So the next one is 62.
So 62 doesn't change the max, but it changes the min. So now the min becomes 62.
57.
Again 57 doesn't change the max but changes the min.
42.
42 again doesn't change the max but changes the min.
All right. 87.
87 is bigger than the max, so it changes the max but doesn't change the min.
71.
71 is between max and min, nothing happens.
Oh, I see.
So 71 is smaller than max, so max doesn't change. 71 is bigger than min, so min doesn't change.
Oh, okay.
So anything which is between these two will not
change either of them.
Yeah.
81.
So 81 is again between.
84.
84 is also between.
74.
74 is also between.
63.
63 is also between.
64.
64 is also between.
97.
So now 97 is bigger than the max, so it changes the max. So now we have.
So you are dynamically finding the range, looks like, huh? Yeah. We are getting the range. 52.
52 is in between.
65.
In between.
89.
89 is in between.
76.
76 in between.
87.
In between.
62.
In between.
72.
In between.
56.
In between.
93.
Still in between.
78.
In between.
62.
In between.
Another 97.
See, now all we want is the range. So the fact that there are two 97s actually shouldn't
doesn't change.
We don't need to know who has got 97.
Okay. Right 44. Oh, okay.
No, it's still inside.
87.
Yeah.
74.
Yeah.
81.
In between.
74.
In between.
72.
In between. Right.
So we are done.
So
we are done with all the cards now.
Yeah. So now we know that max is 97 and min is 42.
So the range is 42 to 97.
Yeah, but you should be careful. So if you subtract this, you will get 55, but it's actually 56
because you have to
include the endpoint. So there is a range of 42. So if I take another card maybe and write it. So we have from 42
to 50 to 97, and that
right?
has
So and
56.
this spread is 56, right?
This you want to divide into 4 parts.
Yeah. So 56 divided by 4,
Is,
fortunately it divides. So we get
14.
14.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we can give 14 marks. So for instance, we take the next
42.
14 marks. So we take 14, that's 56, but we
56.
should stop at 55. So,
So
we say up to 55 will be our first band.
42 to 55 both including.
Yeah.
Okay. Then next
Then
is starting
next
at
is
56.
And then we go up to 60 minus 70 minus 1. So we go to 69.
69.
So this will be our second band.
Okay.
And
Then
then we'll
70.
have 70 to 84 minus 1, 83. This will be our third band. And finally 84 to 97 will be our fourth band.
So this is A.
Yeah.
This is B.
No. I think.
Oh no, sorry. Yeah.
this is-
Of course. Yeah.
So A should be now.
A has to be the best, right? So 84 to 97 is A.
B will be 70 to 83.
Ah.
C will be 56
To 69.
And D will be 42 to 55. So now what we have to do is now we have got the band. So these are our grade bands.
Okay.
So
we
now
go
we
through
have
the cards
to
again.
assign to everybody a band.
A grade.
So what we will do, I guess, is we will keep for each grade, we will just write down the card numbers which fall into that grade. So we will have 4 lists of
4
cards
lists we'll
at the
make.
end.
So you can write in this card itself, maybe,
Uh,
or you take.
maybe
one
I
more
just
card.
write a new one so that we have make sure we have enough space to write.
Okay.
So we will just write down
The grades A, B,
Yeah,
C,
so
D.
A, B, C, D, and I'll just write the numbers so we know what we are doing.
All right. Okay.
84 to 97.
And again, I can go in any order, I presume, right?
Yeah,
just
because
a list.
now we know what to do. Right. So these are our 4 grades. Okay.
And the guess is that you roughly have equal number. We don't know.
We don't know. Let's see.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
So 72 is the first mark.
So that now we have to compare it with each of these, but it falls into the B grade. So that is the first card here, which is
29.
Yeah. So I'll just write 29 now. Yeah.
74.
74, which is again in the
Card
same.
number 28. Yeah.
So this is card number 28.
81.
81 is also here. Looks like everybody's got
27.
It's 27.
Yeah, card number 27. 74.
Okay. So this seems to be a popular. grade.
26. Okay, it's a popular band. 87.
87 is now in this band. So
A.
card number 25 gets.
We got our first A grade.
Yeah.
Gita. 44.
Siddharth has got
Siddharth is down into
D.
the D grade. 24. Yeah. 97.
That's clearly an
Deepika is an
23.
A. 23. 62.
62 is in the
For the
third
first time
band,
you're getting a
so
third
we get
band.
a C.
22.
Yeah.
Yeah. 78.
78 is again in the B grade, so that's card number
21. 93.
93 is an A grade, so that's card number 20.
20. 56.
56 our best got into C.
Just barely into C. All right.
So
19. All right. 72.
72 is here, so that's 18 in a B grade.
62.
62 is again a C, so that's 17.
87.
87 is an A,
A.
so that's
Tausif
16.
is a A grade. 76.
76 is a B again, so that's card number 15.
89 is another A, I think.
89 is another A, 14.
Yeah. 65 is a
65
C, yeah?
is a C, 13.
52.
52 is a D, that's 12.
97 again.
97 is an A, that's 11.
64.
64 is a C.
63.
63 is again a C.
74.
74 is a B.
84.
84 is just
Ah,
narrowly
barely made it.
borderline
Aditya
of an A.
made it to 81.
Oh, sorry, that was 7. Yeah.
That's 7, yeah.
81 is a B.
71.
71 is also a B. So B is by far the most common.
87.
87 is an A.
42.
42 is unfortunately a D.
57.
57 is a C. That's card number 2.
62.
62 is also a C. That's card number 1.
Final card 68.
68 is also a C. That's card number 0.
So, how does it look?
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of people have got an A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people have got a B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people have got a C. And 3 people
So it's not the same.
have got. So yeah. So it's clear that the
Not the same.
on the whole students are doing. So remember that our average was 72, but our B grade starts at 70. So if we actually look at people who are
Above average.
70, if we take 70 as our cutoff and not the real average, we would have seen that majority of the people have got above 70. So actually many people were very borderline below that average who got counted in. So there were 15 people below average, and now there are only 12.
So this is a better way of finding out whether a student is doing well or not, right, than just taking average, because it looks like above average or below average you are giving advantage, just giving too much advantage to somebody who is just marginally above average,
but
and
even
giving
here,
too much disadvantage to somebody who is just marginally below average, right?
Correct.
Ah.
Yeah, so there are many different ways, I guess, and I think even here, I mean, we had people who had got 1 mark this way, that way. So people had got 84, got an A. If they had got 83, they were going to B. So I guess there is some unfairness in everything. But if we want a good picture of how the class is doing, I think this gives us a better
Slightly better picture.
Because now we have an idea about. So one thing we can see for sure is that very few students are doing really badly, and the trend is to be in the higher half. So I think that means that hopefully the students are understanding what's going on in class. So this is a useful thing. But again, the important thing for us computationally was that we had to first find these bands.
Yeah.
So again, we had to first do one iteration to find the minimum and maximum, then use that division of that range into equal things to find the band, and then do a filtering.
Based on that.
There's no way we could have done this filtering, or with no easy way to do the filtering while we are going along, because the bands will keep changing.
So it's 2 iterations. First iteration to get some aggregate values from the thing. Initially it was average. In this case it is the bands.
Yeah, so min and max actually, and then the bands.
Min and max, and then the bands.
Then the bands.
And then use that basically as the filtering condition to basically select cards and classify the cards.